Self-Improvement presents 20 books that will make you smarter. Reading might provide a great way to relax and stay up well past your bedtime, but books offer more than a pleasant diversion. Evidence increasingly stacks up in support of the idea that reading can enhance intelligence. 1. Thinking Fast and Slow. Thinking Fast and Slow. Daniel Kahneman, the renowned psychologist and winner of the Nobel Prize in Economics, takes us on a groundbreaking tour of the mind and explains the two systems that drive the way we think. System 1 is fast, intuitive, and emotional. System 2 is slower, more deliberative, and more logical. 2. Between the World and Me. Between the World and Me is Ta-Nehisi Coates' attempt to answer these questions in a letter to his adolescent son. Coates shares with his son, and readers, the story of his awakening to the truth about his place in the world through a series of revelatory experiences, from Howard University to Civil War battlefields, from the south side of Chicago to Paris, from his childhood home to the living rooms of mothers whose children's lives were taken as American plunder. 3. Effortless. Effortless offers actionable advice for making the most essential activities the easiest ones, so you can achieve the results you want, without burning out. Effortless teaches you how to turn tedious tasks into enjoyable rituals. Prevent frustration by solving problems before they arise. Set a sustainable pace instead of powering through. Make one-time choices that eliminate many future decisions. And much more. 4. Keep Sharp. Keep Sharp debunks common myths about aging and mental decline, explores whether there's a best diet or exercise regimen for the brain, and explains whether it's healthier to play video games that test memory and processing speed, or to engage in more social interaction. Discover what we can learn from superbrain people who are in their 80s and 90s with no signs of slowing down, and whether there are truly any benefits to drugs, supplements, and vitamins. Dr. Gupta also addresses brain disease, particularly Alzheimer's, answers all your questions about the signs and symptoms, and shows how to ward against it and stay healthy while caring for a partner in cognitive decline. He likewise provides you with a personalized 12-week program featuring practical strategies to strengthen your brain every day. 5. The 4-Hour Chef. The 4-Hour Chef isn't just a cookbook. It's a choose-your-own-adventure guide to the world of rapid learning. Number 1 New York Times best-selling author, and lifelong non-cook, Tim Ferriss takes you from Manhattan to Okinawa, and from Silicon Valley to Calcutta, unearthing the secrets of the world's fastest learners and greatest chefs. Ferriss uses cooking to explain meta-learning, a step-by-step process that can be used to master anything, whether searing steak or shooting three-pointers in basketball. That is the real recipe of the 4-Hour Chef. You'll train inside the kitchen for everything outside the kitchen. Featuring tips and tricks from chess prodigies, world-renowned chefs, pro athletes, master sommeliers, supermodels, and everyone in between, this cookbook for people who don't buy cookbooks is a guide to mastering cooking and life. 6. This will make you smarter. Edge.org presents brilliant, accessible, cutting-edge ideas to improve our decision-making skills and improve our cognitive toolkits, with contributions by Nassim Nicholas Taleb, Richard Dawkins, Brian Ennell, Steven Pinker, and more. Featuring a foreword by New York Times columnist David Brooks and edited by John Brockman, This Will Make You Smarter presents some of the best wisdom from today's leading thinkers, to make better thinkers out of the leaders of tomorrow. 7. Astrophysics for People in a Hurry. Astrophysics for People in a Hurry will reveal just what you need to be fluent and ready for the next cosmic headlines, from the Big Bang to black holes, from quarks to quantum mechanics, and from the search for planets to the search for life in the universe. 8. Eats, Shoots, and Leaves. In Eats, Shoots, and Leaves, former editor Lynn Truss dares to say, in her delightfully urbane, witty, and very English way, that it is time to look at our commas and semicolons and see them as the wonderful and necessary things they are. This is a book for people who love punctuation and get upset when it is mishandled. From the invention of the question mark in the time of Charlemagne to George Orwell shunning the semicolon, this lively history makes a powerful case for the preservation of a system of printing conventions that is much too subtle to be mucked about with. 9 Other Minds. In Other Minds, Peter Godfrey Smith, a distinguished philosopher of science and a skilled scuba diver, tells a bold new story of how subjective experience crept into being, how nature became aware of itself. As Godfrey Smith stresses, it is a story that largely occurs in the ocean, where animals first appeared. Tracking the mind's fitful development, Godfrey Smith shows how unruly clumps of seaborne cells began living together and became capable of sensing, acting, and signaling. As these primitive organisms became more entangled with others, they grew more complicated. 10 Stamped from the Beginning. Stamped from the Beginning offers us the tools we need to expose racist thinking. In the process, he gives us reason to hope. As Kendi shows, racist ideas did not arise from ignorance or hatred. They were created to justify and rationalize deeply entrenched discriminatory policies and the nation's racial inequities. 11 Hidden Figures. Hidden Figures follows the interwoven accounts of Dorothy Vaughan, Mary Jackson, Katherine Johnson, and Christine Darden, 4 African-American women who participated in some of NASA's greatest successes. It chronicles their careers over nearly 3 decades. They faced challenges, forged alliances and used their intellect to change their own lives, and their country's future. 12 The Power of Habit. In The Power of Habit, award-winning business reporter Charles Duhigg takes us to the thrilling edge of scientific discoveries that explain why habits exist and how they can be changed. Distilling vast amounts of information into engrossing narratives that take us from the boardrooms of Procter & Gamble to the sidelines of the NFL to the front lines of the civil rights movement, Duhigg presents a whole new understanding of human nature and its potential. At its core, The Power of Habit contains an exhilarating argument, the key to exercising regularly, losing weight, being more productive, and achieving success is understanding how habits work. As Duhigg shows, by harnessing this new science, we can transform our businesses, our communities, and our lives. 13 A Mind for Numbers. A Mind for Numbers offers the tools you need to get a better grasp of that intimidating material. Engineering professor Barbara Oakley knows firsthand how it feels to struggle with math. She flunked her way through high school math and science courses, before enlisting in the Army immediately after graduation. When she saw how her lack of mathematical and technical savvy severely limited her options, both to rise in the military and to explore other careers, she returned to school with a newfound determination to retool her brain to master the very subjects that had given her so much trouble throughout her entire life. 14 Being Wrong. Being wrong will change the way you perceive screw-ups, both of the mammoth and daily variety, forever. In the tradition of the wisdom of crowds and predictably irrational comes being wrong, an illuminating exploration of what it means to be in error, and why Homo sapiens tend to tacitly assume, or loudly insist, that they are right about most everything. Catherine Schultz, editor of Grist magazine, argues that error is the fundamental human condition and should be celebrated as such. 15 Are we smart enough to know how smart animals are? Are we smart enough to know how smart animals are? Explores the oddities and complexities of animal cognition, in crows, dolphins, parrots, sheep, wasps, bats, chimpanzees, and bonobos, to reveal how smart animals really are, and how we've underestimated their abilities for too long. Did you know that octopuses use coconut shells as tools, that elephants classify humans by gender and language, and that there is a young male chimpanzee at Kyoto University whose flash memory puts that of humans to shame? Fascinating, entertaining, and deeply informed, DeWall's landmark work will convince you to rethink everything you thought you knew about animal and human intelligence. 16 The Future of the Mind. The future of the mind brings a topic that once belonged solely to the province of science fiction into a startling new reality. This scientific tour de force unveils the astonishing research being done in top laboratories around the world, all based on the latest advancements in neuroscience and physics, including recent experiments in telepathy, mind control, avatars, telekinesis, and recording memories and dreams. 17. How Not to Be Wrong. In How Not to Be Wrong, Jordan Ellenberg shows us how terribly limiting this view is. Math isn't confined to abstract incidents that never occur in real life, but rather touches everything we do. The whole world is shot through with it. 18. Think Like a Freak. Now, with Think Like a Freak, Stephen D. Levitt and Stephen J. Dubner have written their most revolutionary book yet. With their trademark blend of captivating storytelling and unconventional analysis, they take us inside their thought process and teach us all to think a bit more productively, more creatively, more rationally, to think, that is, like a freak. 19. Frames of Mind. In Frames of Mind, Gardner challenges the widely held notion that intelligence is a single general capacity possessed by every individual to a greater or lesser extent. Amassing a wealth of evidence, Gardner posits the existence of 8 different intelligences, each as important as the next, that comprise a unique cognitive profile for each person. 20. The Courage to Write. In The Courage to Write, Ralph Keyes, an author who has taught writing for more than 30 years, assures us that anxiety is felt by writers at every level, especially when they dare to do their best. He describes the sequence of courage points through which all writers must pass, from the challenge of identifying a worthwhile project to the mixture of pride and panic they feel when examining a newly published book or article.